Mayuresh is joining in. Mayuresh, good afternoon. Good to see you, Ben. What's the view on Trent? I believe you have been shopping. But that aside, what about the stock that around 8,000 rupees was a darling? And from the top, it's seen a good correction, but you've seen it bounce back in the past. I recall it doing a very swift move from 6 to 7,000 rupees. Given the growth, given the competition in the industry, put everything together, and at these valuation, what's your view?
Afternoon, Nigel. No, so as a disclaimer, I think a few months back, we didn't have it in our portfolios, but we did take it out. I think we booked our profits in because I think the valuations were, in our opinion, just not tenable. And even now, our sense is that valuations still look very, very expensive. The ratings are on the softer side as we see it in MarketSmith India. And therefore, the points that Mangalam put out, how does volume growth take place? What is the core dynamics as far as Zudio is concerned? What are the different lines of segments they are planning and expecting to introduce and execute over the next few quarters? And at the same time, how is the margin performance going to be? Again, I think the base that they are working on over the last 2 years, they had compounded their earnings at a historical run rate. And therefore, I think catching up to that base will be a tall ask. Customer sentiment is obviously weak. You've seen consumption slow down. In its real sense, probably play out on a lot of players, and Trent might also probably bear the brunt of it. So again, waiting out for what numbers will come out tomorrow. But even in that scenario, I think the valuations still look very, very expensive.
Mayuresh, any thoughts on these oil and gas companies or companies which feed into stocks like a Castrol?
So I think, Reema, afternoon to you as well. I think Castrol and its closest competitor, Gulf Oil Lubricants, I think you can probably keep a watch on Gulf Oil Lubricants. Numbers have been relatively better so far. The expectations in terms of volume growth expected to hold out for them. And therefore, I think if you probably look at the entire ecosystem, volume and pricing will both play an effect in terms of how the balance sheet is expected to grow. And therefore, the EPS rating probably looks far stronger at Gulf Oil Lubricants. Having said that, I think the kind of exposure that they might have in terms of data center as an opportunity, they're getting into the charging infrastructure space as well, both through the fast charging and the slow charging module, which they believe can be a game changer going forward as well. So the space is interesting. Gulf Oil Lubricants is something to be kept in.
Mayuresh, you think broader market recovery will continue?
So Prashant, as of yesterday with the move that we saw, we have put the markets in a confirmed uptrend, which basically means that it does seem plausible that the few large mid-ish names within the broader market might do well. And when earnings are held up, I think selectively pockets within the broader market should continue doing.
Mayuresh, first in Asian Paints, stock prices typically bottom out before business bottoms out. So do you think Asian Paints is at that stage right now, or do you expect more price correction?
There is a possibility because of the down trading, the competition that is playing out in terms of pricing. And therefore, how volume will play out, the management has made it very, very clear that Q4 will also be very, very soft. And therefore, how do discretionary trends come back? Obviously, with the rate cut bonanza announced in the budget, the slab cut bonanza announced in the budget, what you probably expected to see is some element of demand coming back by the first half of the next financial year. But till that point of time, my own sense is that it might just continue with this underperform tank.